So now we will wait and see. Let's see, we'll let some people come on through. Can you guys see how many people are joining? Because I can see
17 here.
17.
Oh, yeah,
cool.
yeah.
21,
Oh,
there
21.
you go.
Woohoo! Everyone's jumping on board. Hi, everybody. We're just going to give it a couple of minutes to let everybody join in, and then we'll get started pretty soon. Because I know when I do a webinar, I'm like, come on, I was on time. Let's go, let's go.
Yeah. And then tech difficulties and all those things.
Yeah, exactly. Now, most importantly, has everyone got their wine ready?
Wine.
Because it has been one hell of a week, or two or three. So we are going to need our wine to get through this today. Okay. No, it has been a huge couple of weeks. I actually, I had someone say to me the other day, they were like, oh my gosh, this is so hard being in isolation. I've been next to my husband for 3 weeks now, working with him. And I said, oh my God, Dean and I have been working together for 18 years. So we got this isolation thing.
You got it down.
Ready
Yeah,
to
you
go.
do. I must say, you really do.
It's interesting because some have been working from home. Like I myself have been working from home, since this business has started. So it's not a novelty. And the same sort of people say, oh, you've got to work from home and these are the problems. I'm like, well, yeah, these are problems that I've always have.
Can be true. Can be true. All right. How many have we got now? Should we get started?
Absolutely.
I think so. Let's go. So pretty much for those of you who don't know me, my name is Rachael Bentick. I am one half of Inlighten Photography along with my husband, Dean-Dundas. So basically the reason that we created today, this webinar, I think isolation must be getting to me. The fact that, hey, Evelyn's joined us. Yay. So we've got all of our panelists here now. That's fantastic.
Sorry, I logged in from a participant end. Sorry. Awkward.
No problem. No problem. Yeah, but so basically the idea of this, and I was just apologizing. I think isolation must be getting to me coming up with such a bad pun name as Weddinar. I thought it was really funny when I came up with it, and then afterwards I went, as my daughter would say, so cringe.
That was good.
I thought I was funny.
That was great.
It's good fun. So basically our goal is to share with businesses what everyone's doing right now during the COVID-19 crisis. Because I've been talking to quite a few business owners in the wedding industry, and I feel as though there are a lot of people out there who are like going, oh my God, there are so many challenges. We never could have predicted this is what would happen. And then when they start talking, they're like, oh, but I am doing this and I am doing this. And there's kind of like quite a few inspiring and positive stories out there. So I kind of wanted to bring along a group of people, because I think the main thing as well is we don't know all the answers. There's no one in the world that can know right now when the restrictions are going to lift and when are we going to be able to do large weddings again. So what we're rather than that going to do is sort of share with you guys some of the insights that these businesses, just exactly like you, we've got wedding planners, we've got celebrants, we've got dress designers, we've got MC, celebrant, everybody here. So what they're doing to, first of all, protect their business, because we've all been in business for a while now. So it's important to protect everything that we've worked towards for so many years. And then what we're doing to adapt, not only to the situation that's now, because now it's not going to be forever, but the future is probably not going to look exactly like we expected ever as well. So what we're doing to adapt to these new circumstances, and then what we're doing to position ourselves to grow out of this, because it's one thing to sort of like, get our way through to the other side. But what we want to do is position ourselves to be in a great opportunity to launch and grow at the end of all this. So as we go through, just a little bit of Zoom housekeeping. My husband, Dean, is going to, everyone's like husbands and family are involved because we're working from home. Yeah. So what we're going to do is he is going to be having a look at the question and answer section. So if you have a question as we go through, he's going to keep track of those for us and then let us know some questions to ask at the end. So we won't see those as you're posting them live as we go through today. We'll come through and answer as many of those as we can at the end. I'm too easily distracted. But having said that as well, I also wanted to really make the point that today is not about sugarcoating and saying, oh my God, everyone is like, it's so easy. And, because it's not. Like right now, things are pretty sucky. So what we want to do with our chat today is kind of share and let you guys know as well that, that we're all kind of, it's so cliche, but we are all in this together. Like after talking yesterday, I was thinking to myself, you know, it's like such a roller coaster of ups and downs. And like in the space of 10 minutes, I thought all these things. I can do this. No, I can't. I think I need a snack. Geez, I love wearing gym pants. God, I'm sick of wearing gym pants. Geez, I'm tired. Did I just finish another bottle of wine? All in the space of 10 minutes. I thought all of those things in the space of 10 minutes. Like, I think that's it. It's just like up and down, up and down. So as well as practical learnings and advice you can take away, the idea of this is just to say we are all in this together, share how we're feeling and let you know that you're not alone if you're finding that it's all a little bit overwhelming, because we're all feeling that way. Okay, just kick us off. Can I get a group cheers, please? Everyone at home, everybody, get your wines ready. It's been a big couple of weeks. Cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Yes.
I hear they said Dan Murphy's sales have gone through the roof, and I think I contributed to that a lot.
I love the restrictions. They went from like 4 bottles, I think, per person to 2 in a week.
Wow.
Not that we know.
Yeah. It's like, all right. So to kick us off, I thought I'm going to introduce you to everyone that we have right now, and thank you guys all very much for joining us. But it's not like you were busy, so you might, you might as well. You didn't have anything else to do. So first of all, you can see we have Sebastian Lee, who is the owner of Eternal Bridal, based in both Sydney and Melbourne, and stocks amazing labels such as Galia Le Havre and Hayley Page, and has also opened a store in Shanghai recently. Say hi, Sebastian.
Hi, Sebastian.
Hi, everyone.
Hi. All right. We have Natasha O'Mara, who's the director of ABIA, the Australian Bridal Industry Academy, who you would probably recognise from her National Wedding Industry Awards program. Gave us away from Queensland.
Hello from Queensland.
Hey, Natasha.
Oh my goodness. Nadia Duran, international wedding planner and stylist, who suggested maybe I should drop the phrase international, as it looks like she'll be sticking fairly local in Sydney this year.
Hello. I mean, yay for us.
Simply Nadia Duran.
Just Nadia Duran. That's it. No international woman of mystery anymore.
No.
We've also got Evalyn Parsons, a wedding hairstylist entrepreneur who opened her salon in 2004 on the Sunshine Coast. I love Evalyn. I got into one conversation with her already, and she's like, boom, numbers. This is what you do. Positivity. I love it. She's going to be talking to us. Say hi.
Hi, everybody. Great to be
Hey,
here.
Evalyn.
Hi, everyone.
We got Vicky Flanagan, who is a South Australian wedding celebrant, who'll be giving her insights into the new ways that people are now getting married and what that means for the industry. Say hi.
Yeah. Hi, everybody. It's great to be here.
Excellent. We got Jeremiah Hartmann, a Sydney-based wedding MC, who'll be chatting about the new opportunities he's seeing in Zoom and his practical tips to increase your professionalism and therefore your sales on the Zoom platform. Who doesn't need that?
Oh,
Awesome.
perfect.
Hey, Jeremiah. Now, I got the name wrong. I'm so sorry, Hayley. It's Showtime Event Group, a venues-based group down in Melbourne who have a number of venues down there, and they're going to be talking to us all about what they're doing, postponing and accommodating so many guests, so many bride and couples requests. Say hi.
Hello.
Hey, Hayley. Thank you for coming along.
Thanks for having me.
And we have Christy Franks, who has just launched her own business, Christy Franks Co., and is now managing a very exciting property called Torera House down in the Southern Highlands. So big opportunities for destination weddings down there. She's going to chat about that. Say hi, Christy.
Hi.
Yay. And last but not least is we have Fiona from Couture Wedding Planning in Sydney. Now, Fee, say hi.
Hi.
We have worked, so I'm from Inlighten Photography, and we've worked with Fee usually on very big scale weddings and lots of styling. But Fee, the last wedding we worked with you on just 2 weekends ago was a little bit smaller, right?
Just 5.
Yeah, just 5. So tell me what has your experience been so far? Are you finding that many of your couples are scaling down their weddings, or are most of them postponing? What are you finding?
I think for most of them that we've postponed them. Thankfully, nobody's cancelled, which has been really great.
We've seen the same thing.
And we've moved them. Nobody wanted to go this year. We all moved them to early next year. And to be honest, a lot of the venues didn't have any dates. So So that's why we moved them. Everybody wanted a Saturday and a Sunday, so we moved all of them to the new year, where it was already so busy at the end of the year. So there was just no dates really, unless you wanted like a Wednesday or Thursday, and a lot of people didn't want that. So, but we did have the opportunity with Sarah and Matt we fully postponed their huge wedding to next April. We've basically got the same date that they were having this year, and we've just moved it to 2021. And now, but they still did really want to get married, which was really exciting. We were all a little bit worried about being outside, especially, with the guy who got, fined for sitting on a bench and eating his kebab. So that was one of our concerns. But our celebrant, was just saying that, as long as we're all together and we have the marriage certificate, we should be fine. So my only worry was with Tim from Enlighten, from your team, Rach. Yep. My only worry is obviously he would be one with 2 other people. That was my only worry. But we only did a very small shoot after the wedding, basically on the way back to the car. Yep. So it all worked really well. Everybody was very happy for them, which was really great. But I think it is a little challenging on who you're going to choose for those 5 people. Sarah and Matt just decided to just have myself as one of the witnesses, and I basically held the Zoom camera, and all their families were on it. And then we had Tim as our second witness, and obviously our celebrant and our couple. So it worked out well.
I was thinking that because you'd kind of see very quickly if there was one side of the family that was favourite, if they get invited in the 5.
That would be tricky. That would be tricky. They made that choice quite early on because the thing is, Matt's parents were actually in Queensland at the time and couldn't come even if they wanted to. Yeah. So ultimately, it could have potentially been his parents that wanted to kind of.
All right. Is anybody else losing feed there?
Yeah.
Is it just me?
Yeah, okay. It's not just me. Great.
Yeah, not just me. I was just checking that as well. All right. I guess we're going to get a little bit of Zoom moment. All right. So are you there now, Fee?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Beautiful, Dal. I think we just missed you the last little couple of seconds.
Sorry. Awesome.
Oh, I think we're going to lose her again.
Okay.
No, we got you now. Give it one more shot.
Okay, cool. And so where did I get up to?
I think you were just saying about Matt's family were in Queensland, so they couldn't have been there anyway.
Yes, and so it would have been potentially Sarah's parents that came along. But they just decided to just have no one there. And then it was easier, and then nobody felt like they were being favoured, and everybody was just on the Zoom call at the time. So
have they cancelled? I mean, I have to admit I do know the answer to this. So Sarah and Matt, they didn't just cancel their wedding completely and just do the small version. They're still going to do their big party later as well, aren't they? Yes. And I gave that option to all the others to postpone, to get married on the days that they wanted to get married. But everybody decided that they would really love their friends and family there, and they have fully postponed until next year. So cool. And how did you find working with other vendors, trying to move that and get that into that 5-person so quickly? That was really efficient. I mean, obviously you guys are great. We just really created like a WhatsApp group and just, created a plan. The problem was, my biggest worry is that they were going to change the laws again and we wouldn't have the 5. And I actually called them and said, look, guys, I really feel like we need to move this now. So why don't we just do it on Saturday? And then at least they don't have time to change the laws on us. But they haven't changed the laws. It looks like we can still continue to do the 5-people weddings. So if anybody is, interested in that, we can make that plan. So and I mean,
some people prefer it.
And that's true, because Vicky, as a celebrant, what are you seeing in this regard? Are you finding that many of your couples are continuing? Because people are in love, and often if you're in love, you want to get married. Like, how are you finding, the ceremony side of things?
Well, absolutely, Rachel. So we're seeing the same sort of thing. Is that we're seeing the fact that people just they want to get married. There's so many other things that our couples are thinking about other than just the day. So like you said, they're in love. They're planning babies. They're planning. Before this, they were planning overseas trips. They may or may not have, health issues themselves or sick family members that they're working around. There's so many other factors that they're working in. And they may have waited, 12 years, my couple, at the end of March, just to get married. So then all of a sudden they were facing another year again. And they were like, do you know what? We just want to be married. And if this 5-person rule and COVID enables me to have something smaller, and that's kind of what we probably wanted in the first place, it just kind of got out of hand. They sort of just downsized it and got married. And then same as Fiona, I'm seeing then a lot of couples that are looking to have the full shebang, because that's not how they see it happening at all anyway. They value it's all about their priorities. They want to have their family members there. They want to, have the beautiful floral arrangements and the gorgeous photography and all of that sort of thing, and not compromise that. Whereas others, they're just in love. They want to get married. They want to be married and move forward.
That's cool. I might just add in a quick comment there to what you're saying there, because what I've seen come out of this all and what is so beautiful is to really actually understand the couple's why, and really learn the couple that it is just about sometimes being married, and it doesn't matter about the scale or the bells and whistles and those sorts of things. And so really it's been such a beautiful experience to really see what marriage is really meaning to people. So I think out of anything, that's a positive side to see from coming out of the couples.
Definitely
100%.
And I know, Vicky, when we chatted yesterday, you were saying that, yes, so many of your couples are in love and they want to get married, but they still want to share it. And you were saying that you've certainly been adapting what you do with smaller ceremonies to add some new technology. And this was something that a lot of people who registered for the webinar wanted to hear about. How can you incorporate new technology? So what are you planning on doing, and how are you sort of planning to fuse love and technology and, to earn more money?
Love and technology don't always go together.
Yeah, they don't, but they can now.
So I suppose the whole idea of live streaming weddings is sort of really come to the forefront because of this. It's a really it's been an idea that's been around for a long time, and a lot of my overseas couples are still streaming to their overseas family and friends that could make it, but on a smaller scale, not the whole thing. So I suppose it's just me trying to work out how that can look the best way possible. So I suppose for my ceremonies, I have a great quality PA system. I position us all so that we look good for videography and photography and all of that sort of stuff. But when you go to live streaming, your audio is just as important, if not more important.
Definitely.
And it's the first thing that is compromised, unfortunately, with iPhones and things like that. So I suppose stability of the iPhone, I suppose, if you're going iPhone, if you've got SLR, if you're able to have something a little bit better, that's great. But majority of my couples that are speaking to me are just looking to go really simple and just have their phone set up with some sort of audio attachment to it, so that everyone can hear them. I was fortunate to have purchased a Rode wireless Go before this all happened, and it literally...
Jeremiah's giving the thumbs up on that one.
Oh, good, excellent. So it landed on my doorstep literally a week before everything went bang. And so I was sort of really trying to get my head around it as far as, hooking it up to my Maui 5, which I've just purchased also. It's great making big purchases before all of this. So I've sort of been really trying to train, myself in how to use that technology in a different way. So not just with my PA, obviously, hooking it up to a phone and the cables that are necessary to do that and adapters that are necessary to do that, so that I can transmit that audio the best way possible, because with wind and all these other factors, it's the first thing to go. And usually my amazing videographers have got that covered for me, but
they're
not
also
anymore.
they're probably friends of yours too, and they could probably teach you. And I think out of anything out of this, it's that realization that, you know, if we're going to grow, we're going to have to learn new skills. If we're going to adapt, we're going to have to learn new skills. So we can talk to other people in the wedding industry. You know, for videographers, it's probably not worth them coming out necessarily for a half-hour coverage. So they may be happy to work with us and teach, you know, celebrants how to improve what they do that wise.
Absolutely. I found my videographer friends amazing in that regard. And even if they've not had experience with it firsthand, they're able to direct me to YouTubers and things like that. Quality sort of YouTubers that are going to be able to give me the information that I need in order to kind of, get the advice I need. So that's learning. Been so valuable. Yeah, absolutely valuable. Yeah.
Now, Hayley, in this scramble to accommodate date changes and work out the right thing to do, because I think across the board, that's certainly what we found as well. There's very few cancellations, not many people, a couple of people going for the mini wedding, but for most people, it's been a case of postponement. And it's been a bit of a juggle for some of us vendors to work out what is the right thing to do. You're from Showtime Event Groups in Melbourne. What are you doing regarding moving couples' dates?
Yeah, absolutely. So I guess for us, you know, we've created some policies surrounding COVID-19. And in the beginning, the terms were a lot tougher, but we quickly realised that it's a dynamic environment and that we had to evolve. So I guess this is something that we're going to continue to work on for as long as we need to try and strike that right balance between compassion for our clients and also what is best for our business. So I guess for the moment, and I know we touched on looking at weddings in, say, August and September.
Yes, that's my next question. Everyone wants to know, what are we going to do about weddings in August, September? Do we shift them? Do we keep them where they are?
Yeah, definitely. So at the moment, from a business perspective, you know, it is just moving forward as normal for now. There isn't any current government legislations that permits us from, you know, hosting the weddings and them going ahead as planned. But realistically, you know, we understand that that isn't reality for many of our couples. There's so much uncertainty, potential travel bans, you know, and financial strain that they're under as well.
Yeah.
So basically what SEG has done is created a matrix that categorises the weddings. And depending on the month that it falls to, we have a certain guideline for our wedding producers to follow when communicating to the couples about their options. And it just allows us to maintain consistency on our messaging across the board for, you know, couples that, you know, are potentially looking to postpone. We consider it on a case-by-case basis. So I guess for the moment, we're sort of finding that couples fall into one of three categories.
Yep.
The first is those that want to go ahead for August and September, no matter what the cost. If they have to change their numbers or make compromises, they will. And that really is the best scenario for everyone at this point. And, you know, if everyone can fall into that category, it would be amazing. Those couples, I guess, that are looking to postpone, you know, they don't like the uncertainty and are not looking to take the risk to have to postpone or cancel last minute. You know, for us, it can be as simple as picking up their date and moving it forward into the future, and there's no other changes required. For others, you know, we're in constant communication and having conversations with them, and they might be looking at having a smaller wedding or cutting back on costs. So we explore, you know, some off-peak dates with them, potentially to lower the costs but have minimum spends.
So when we chatted yesterday too, you mentioned that you do kind of stick a little bit with the package that they originally booked with. So if they, and this is something I think I struggled with a little bit to begin with too. So I might have given a package a discounted rate because it was winter. You're not allowing them to shift to a Saturday in October. You're still requiring them to shift to a winter, an off-peak time again. Is that right?
Correct, yeah. So if someone has a wedding contract of, say, $15,000, they can't then go into a date that has a $40,000 minimum spend. So we still have to look at the specifics of their wedding and try and accommodate accordingly. And, you know, for some couples that may mean reducing their package, and yeah, they were on a peak date, but they might have to go onto an off-peak date next year due to availability. So we're really just working with our couples wherever we can, to try and accommodate.
Duran, if I ask a question just regarding that, in terms of, I guess, postponing people's dates, and where you're allowing, I guess, prioritization, but then where do you fall in, obviously, new couples inquiring to make inquiries for peak dates? Are you offering, I guess, your existing bookings, I guess, first right of refusal for those sort of, like you were saying, Rach, the similar season, the similar peak dates or off season? And I guess, how do you manage that then with new bookings coming in and that sort of thing? And when do they have to make the call?
Absolutely. So generally it sort of is first in, first dress for the dates. So if we have a couple that are in, say, September and they're wanting to postpone into, you know, early next year, providing the date is available and they meet the minimum spends, they can have it. But if we do, you know, have another potential client that's new looking to book, you know, and they're keen to pay their deposit to lock in the date and they can do that first, then, you know, they do get the first rights to the date.
And are you encouraging any of your clients in particular, I guess, from that August, September mark to try and put in a provisional date at the moment?
Yeah, look, not at this stage, because, you know, we do believe from the guidelines that we've been given at this point, it will be business as usual.
Yeah.
So, you know, some of them have spoken to us and they're a little bit nervous, but they're happy to wait for now and see what happens. And if we have to postpone them later, we will. Yeah. Others have already made that call, you know, to make the move now and have signed over to a new date in the future.
Okay. Great.
I have to say, I think we're pretty much on the same thing where we are like, and it's an important thing to let people know too. Like, I'm very much going out to all of our future couples and to our followers on social media, and I'm saying, guys, if you want us for next year, you need to book now. And I'm saying that's whether it's for photography, whether it's for venues, whether it's for hair, makeup. This is a really important, like, key message that we all need to tell all of our couples, because those dates are filling up. And we are literally going to have double the amount of girls wanting half the number of available dates.
So true.
We really do have the opportunity to have a bumper season at the end of this, especially because instead of only being able to work Saturdays, we'll also be able to work Thursdays and Sundays and Fridays. And you know, that really elevates the number of days that we have to earn income in that coming season. So we've actually booked 6 new wedding interviews via Zoom in the last 2 or 3 weeks.
Wow.
So we're and that's why I'm really excited for Jeremiah to talk about how he ups his professionalism as well, because we are still finding that it works. And the couples that we do talk to on Zoom, they are desperate to book because they know the dates are running out. So we're very similar to Hayley. We're shifting all of our dates to anyone who wants it. But yeah, so far September has wanted to stay still.
Definitely. And Showtime are really lucky in that we've recently taken on board the State Library of Victoria, and there's 4 separate wedding venues in there in addition to all the other venues in our portfolio. So we can shift clients between the different sites, you know, if they are really set on a date, and, you know, are happy to make the move across to one of our other sites. So that's a really positive for us as well.
I think that flexibility is just going to have to come in across the board, us and couples, you know. Now, I want to make sure that as we sort of go through, we're coming back to our 3 points that I'm wanting to make sure we focused on, and that is to protect, adapt and grow. And they're kind of words I'm using in my mind because sometimes it is hard to stay motivated and it can be easy to get caught up in your own head and start spinning circles and go, okay, what do I have to do now? You know, this isn't a traditional work day. What am I meant to do next? And I think I kind of jumped straight into the adapt stage because I think as entrepreneurs, sometimes that's where we naturally lean into. But for me, protecting our business over the last couple of weeks has probably been, honestly, the most important part and where I've spent the majority of my time. And, you know, because there has been so many messages, the stimulus packages coming from the government. And yeah, there can be, they're changing every day. They're hard to get your head around. Now, Evalyn, like I said, you are like a major entrepreneurial girl boss. You own Evalyn Parsons hair salon on the Sunshine Coast, and yeah, within the first 2 minutes I was like, yeah, you know what's going on. You're straight away, you're like, the first thing I did because I looked at my profit and loss and I'm like, yes, like serious business stuff. That's what we've got to do.
My brain was going crazy for about 7 days basically until I kind of had all my things lined up. So yeah, for me, it's all about, I think pretty much from the Sunday when they were starting to, the word on the street was that there was going to be some more serious lockdowns. That was the night that they announced the venue lockdowns. I think from that Sunday afternoon, I suddenly just thought, okay, I'm going to have to get strategic. So yeah, the first thing I did that week was print my profit and loss, researched everything that was online about what was available, and I just sat there and I looked at everything in my P&L and was like, okay, what am I spending money on in a business? I have got a premises, I've got a salon plus our mobile team, so I've got 10 staff between the two. So I've got, staff, premises, a lot of expenses. I could spend, 15,000 a month, just on general costs before I've even paid wages or other things. So it's like, okay, where are all those costs going? What can we cut back? So, so I was sat there and just highlighted the things that I knew had some flexibility, or people I could reach out to, and the things sort of circle the things that I knew were fixed. So that made a big difference. We literally just emailed insurance and subscriptions, and it really made a big difference. So yeah, we're able to get some fantastic support and strategize from that end, which was great. And it's really just been about keeping up with what, as tiring as it is, it's been really essential, I've found, to just keep up constantly with what the government's rolling out, because obviously, as we all know, it's been changing daily. I feel like that's slowed a bit now. I think we're all feeling a bit more like, okay, we've got a bit more of a clear picture of what the landscape's looking like now. Whereas I think 2 or 3 weeks ago, we were like, whoa, what's happening today? What's happening today?
Yeah.
And from a
salon, what have you taken advantage of?
So, well, I've obviously from the wedding, obviously talking weddings, so my wedding hair, we look after about 200 weddings a year. So we relocated sort of about 60 weddings pretty much within a 2-day period. So that sort of strategy was our first focus. And then we have a fairly structured procedural system in the office about how we look after our bride. So that was pretty straightforward. And then that's when I was like, okay, now that's done. Now I can focus on what the government's doing and how I can do it. So once the JobKeeper rolled out, I guess I felt like, okay, I can see that can work in my business. Up until that point, I was talking daily to my staff, okay, I'm going to support you as much as I can. If things if things adjust, you may need to do job seeker. What can I help my staff do, on an individual basis? I'm a staff focused person. I wouldn't have a business I have without the amazing team I've got. So for me, it's the first thing in my mind was them. Secondary, I think, really was my own perspective, because while I have a family and 5 children, I'm 40, I've lived through lots of stuff. I'm we'll be fine, but I don't want to leave, especially some of these young girls. I don't need to leave them feeling high and dry. So JobKeeper is definitely something that is going to work for us. I was unsure how it would work for me personally, because I'm not an employee of my company. I have a beneficiary trust. So, but obviously we can now see that one beneficiary or one person from a trust can receive a JobKeeper payment. So that's fantastic. And even sole operator, that really does, I feel like that covers a huge, I feel like in our wedding industry, that should really support a huge amount of our industry, to be honest, because if you're in the wedding industry, you will have definitely had a 30% drop at least, if not 100, if your situation is fully weddings orientated, obviously. So for me, it's I've got my weddings, but I've also got the salon. So I had to look at a bit more strategically, but yeah, so that's been my biggest thing. And then I pay employees. So I obviously have the support coming through the PAYG rebate, basically, which is a tax offset. So that will also help me massively, to be honest, because, well, at least it will just reduce what I owe the ATO, in regards
free up
to
that
payments.
cash you were saving up.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, the biggest thing with JobKeeper, which I'll just comment on because maybe people have thought about are in this. I noticed online there's a lot of dialogue with JobKeeper around the fact that you have to pay your staff or pay in advance, and then you obviously get money from the government later, and there's a lot of stress around that. So, but I think there's still some flexibility, and I think people just need to try not to panic about that. The government has said you've got till the 30th of April to basically back pay your staff. So you don't have to put, we pay fortnightly pay run, but you have till the 30th to show that you've gone back and paid them for that, it's 4 weeks. And obviously there's support from banks and stuff to do that. So I think if you can, I think that's probably the only thing. I've noticed a lot of people online saying, how are we going to do this? What's going to happen? JobKeeper's not going to work for me because I can't pay those wages. So it is tough, but I can understand as well that the government just can't decide that decision today and tomorrow start giving out cash. It's just not possible. And there's just too much around, like, obviously integrity, and the reality is that there is people out there that will try and work that system. So they have to be diligent about that, and I respect that. So I do think that there is support, and that if you have a great business, you really need someone in your bank who supports you in your business. And even if you haven't had a loan in the past, that you really need to activate that, because that's what it's there for, and that they will back you. Like, you just need to have a specific person, not just a general bank number. If you've got a bank and that's that you bank with them, then you need to find out who is the person in my local branch that looks after businesses, and you need to have a direct line to them so that they can actually say, we care about your business, you're in our local community, and we'll do what we can to help you. And then people will the whole point of this is you're going to get through it, and that support will be there. So try not to panic, I think, is probably my message to people. I think hang in there. And if that's what you're looking for with JobKeeper, then definitely I think there'll be a way through it.
That's cool. And I was going to mention as well, for us in New South Wales, there is the state government grant, and I've just made a little note. I'm going to email out everybody after this. I'm going to add on there the link so that you can, if you are in New South Wales, there is a $10,000 grant that you can claim through or apply for through the New South Wales government. It's if you have lost more than 80% of your income, and you do need to show that as a 2-week period between the first 2 weeks of the same 2 weeks last year and the same 2 weeks this year. Now, we almost weren't able to do that, even though we've completely lost everything, because we were still getting a couple of funds coming through in that first little section of April, and you don't have to claim that straight away. So if you need to wait a little bit longer to be able to claim that, you need to show an 80% decrease in income between the same 2 weeks last year and this year. This is for New South Wales. And you may need to get a letter from your accountant as well. So I'll pop the email for that link in there too.
And that's the same with the JobKeeper too, just to note, is that that's going to be a month-by-month system. So even if you're still getting revenue from your weddings, or people still paying you from, say, late March into April, that you can actually still apply in May and in June. Like, they're going to do that month by month. So same scenario.
Perfect. And then the other, yes, we were the same as you. We actually put our team members off, and then we brought them back on once the JobKeeper came in. The other thing was a few weeks ago, and I'd forgotten I'd done this, we negotiated with, one thing we've tried to do is really jump ahead of the game in this. So like you said, spent those first couple of days contacting our couples and helped them shift their wedding dates rather than waiting for them to come to us. And we also did that with the people that we owe money to. So our album suppliers, our team members, our printing companies, rent, things like that. So rent was a tricky negotiation, but we got there thanks to the government legislation that came into play there as well. But I did also create a letter that you can use to send to your suppliers that is worded politely. And again, rather than waiting to the moment that you can't pay them anymore, you're much better off paying them smaller amounts over time. So if you can see that it's going to get tough, don't pay off. It can be one way to do it, and it's what I've done, is to contact all the people in advance, say, look, this is a scenario, and drip feed little bits of money as much as you can, as quickly as you can, rather than leaving one supplier out there thinking that, well, what's going on, having that no communication. So having conversations around money can be tricky, and I have written a letter that I put in a downloadable format on my website. So I'm going to add a link to that as well. So that'll all come out in the email to you guys after as well. Now, Evalyn, we got chatting about this one yesterday. I'm on your side. I'm 100%. And I know you feel as passionately about this as I do. The Prime Minister, Scott Morrison, came out and said that every business in Australia is an essential business. Now, in some Facebook groups that I've been a part of, I've seen a lot of shaming of people who have continued to operate during this.
Yes.
What are your thoughts as a hair salon on whether you should still be operating during the COVID-19 crisis?
Yeah, look, it's a great question, and we did touch on it yesterday, because obviously you'd mentioned in photography that there'd been some discussion, and definitely in the hairdressing industry that has been a huge factor in COVID. I mean, every time I look on a Facebook group that's got to do with salons, that's pretty much the only dialogue, is why are you open or why are you closed? And there's really two very strong kind of sides to it. But my approach has been absolutely every business that can stay open should be, because we are here to keep the country running. We are essential workers. We're paying tax. We're keeping the machine of our country going. And also, even from a mental health perspective, we've got a job to do. We've got staff that need a place to go. And so I felt passionate about staying open, and for me, it was never a question. I have got the blessing of a large premises, so we have been able to, obviously there's parameters and rules, and we've been able to do that. And I've been recording videos for my clients probably every 2 or 3 days saying, here's what's happening today, here's what we're doing, which has had a really positive impact. My business, while it's been slow because of clients who can't come, we've actually attracted a whole new group of clients who are like, we love what you're doing about your business. So I think from the online perspective, I've just said to people, when I've talked about, at the end of the day, everyone's entitled to their own decision, and you have to make decisions about what you feel safe with, maybe your circumstance and your family, but there's no place for shaming. There's no place for making a judgment, because you're really here to do what you need to do, support your family and to support your staff. And if that decision meant you felt comfortable to close and you had the finances to do that, fantastic. Like, if that was your decision, awesome. And if your decision is to stay open, and especially when the government says you should stay open or legally you're allowed to, then my take was like, well, that's exactly what I'm going to be doing. So I've sort of avoided some of the online stuff, but I really encourage people to just stay really positive and don't judge people for their decision. And I think in photography too, look, if you can pivot your business a little around these circumstances and stay in business, well, you should be, because like I was saying yesterday, that's really, I feel like that's our commitment to our country and to our family. And I think it sends a message to everyone that says, we'll keep going.
We'll keep going,
My staff, we're going to come out of this stronger. We're going to come out of this. Definitely I've had some things I've done to support my staff to make them feel safe. We've adjusted how many clients we take, and we've adjusted the way we structure things. And I've just done some little things for them on a daily basis just to give them a little pep up, buy them fresh juices and just send them little messages and write little notes. And because I recognize that every time they go on social media, they come away going, oh, what am I doing? Am I going to get something, So I think that on a localized basis, like, you have to do what you have to do to keep everyone upbeat. But definitely out there, I think people need to back down and just back your decision, but don't judge other people's, because essential worker is definitely a worker in our country. So
yeah, definitely. And this is the thing, it's not just for 2 weeks of a tight lockdown. This is something that we're going to have to go through for a very long time, and we're going to need to keep our country going at the end of this. Absolutely. Now, Sebastian, you own Eternal Bridal, a wedding dress shop that sells high-end imported brands such as Galia Le Havre and Lazaro and Hayley Page. Oh, I love your pretty dresses.
Thank you.
Now, similar sort of vein, I did actually receive a number of questions, because we asked people when they registered, what did they want to talk about? Is it possible? Is it even possible to sell dresses person to person, like using a mask? I know that you have the shop in Shanghai. I don't know, have you had extra experience because of that? Like, how are you handling the situation?
Yeah, absolutely. So the short answer to that is yes, Rachel. It's definitely possible. I mean, as a business, we have made the decision to temporarily shut our door, both in Melbourne and Sydney, for the past 3 weeks. But now we are, with the new updates that we're getting daily from the government, and things are looking positive. Things are looking positive. And if we compare ourselves to a lot of other countries, we're in such a good position.
Yes.
So we are now definitely putting, steps in place to allow us to come back progressively. So Melbourne most likely will be back towards the end of April, and in Sydney, we are looking now at mid-May. Now, obviously, the way and the nature of us conducting a stylist appointment will be quite different due to a lot of restrictions and guidelines as well. So, as part of what we're doing, for example, is that we're limiting the amount of brides that we're seeing on a daily basis.
That makes sense.
We are also reducing the number of dresses that brides are able to try on. So rather than the usual, anywhere between 6 to 10 or 12 dresses, sometimes for brides who are quite indecisive, now what we tend to do is to do a prior phone consultation with them in terms of what sort of styles and silhouettes you're more resonating towards. And therefore, when you are coming into our store, then we are able to pinpoint to a few samples that will fit what you have in mind. Also, another big change that will be happening quite soon is that there will be no more bridal entourage that will be joining you for your appointment.
Well, that makes sense.
Absolutely. We are definitely going to welcome any video conferencing as well, or FaceTime with your family and friends.
Oh, nice.
but definitely in regards to trying to keep the occupancy level quite low during, especially in the next coming months is a step that we have to do. In face mask is an interesting one, because in Shanghai, when we started to return to trade about 2 months ago, that was the first thing that we implemented, that every one of our staff and the bride will also be wearing face masks.
Oh, romantic.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the tricky part is because with wedding dresses, all our stylists have to get quite up close and personal to the bride as well, because we need to help them with the dresses, help them with the fitting. So I suppose it's a assurance for both our team and the bride as well that we do care about hygiene. It's important that we need to do things properly, and most brides actually understand that. And if anything, a picture of a bride in a beautiful gala half dress with a mask is actually quite nice.
Yeah.
It's never been done before, so it's quite, it's new content.
It'll go well on socials.
100%.
And what about while you are closed at the moment? Have you done anything to adapt, online, or are you continuing to sell anything differently?
Yeah, 100%. So, I mean, there's, we always have a lot of ideas of what we can do within our business and where the expansion opportunities are. But the matter of the fact is, Rach, usually we're so caught up with everyday, day-to-day business conduct that we just sort of put it back in the back burner.
Yeah.
So what the past 2 to 3 weeks has allowed us to do is to really revisit these projects that we've had in mind for a long time. And as for now, we are now developing a different affordable range for bridal dresses that we'll be bringing online very, very shortly. We always have been having the e-commerce platform through our website as well. That's been selling shoes and jewelries and accessories.
Yep. And
we'll be now looking into developing our lingerie collection as well.
Oh, and I do own some of those Badgley Mishka shoes. Thank you very much. Very, very good online platform there. But that's perfect. And I think, for many of us, I guess what I was trying to say with that as well is getting my brain around my thoughts now. Yeah, like it's great to adapt. And talking about those restrictions that are going to be in place, even if they're eased. I know from a photography point of view, one thing that we see not easing or going to be one of the last things to come back in is that 500-person wedding. So we'll still probably be able to start, the dresses will be able to be sold again, and the hairdressing will start again, and other areas, but the actual event itself probably won't continue for a little bit of time yet. One of our first weddings was also postponed because the family couldn't come from overseas. So we'll touch on destination weddings and how that's going to change very soon. But yeah, that's I think the way that we do business has changed forever.
Yeah.
And that
just
is
on that, Rachel. Sorry,
go.
just on that. I think we all, as a group of professionals, have all these amazing experiences. We think outside the box. We've got lots of options in our minds. And I think the biggest thing I've found is actually communicating those options to our couples, because a lot of the time they're not thinking like the things that we think about, and they've not seen the different ways that weddings can take place, and at different time slots and in different formats and timelines. So I think communicating how it's going to look if we have to look at an off-peak time or an off-peak date, or maybe having to switch from an October date to a winter date because of availability or whatever, how that's actually going to look for them, I think is a really big thing I've been working with, is just communicating those ideas to our couples. And we think it's straightforward. We think we just see all of that straight away. We've got that opportunity, but they don't. They're sort of living in their world. This is the only time they've ever done it. Hopefully, well, ideally. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things I've been working with quite a lot, that's protecting my business as well, because I'm offering them off-peak times, but then kind of explaining how that looks exactly.
See, and because I do like wine, I'm a big fan of the Friday wedding. I'm always like, go the Friday, everyone comes up, you can take a few hours off work, get dressed. It's a big party. Fridays are a big party. But no, I think that's a really good point. And the way we handle weddings is probably, all the way we do business has changed forever. But one thing that has not changed is the need for us to continue to make money and sell. And as anyone who knows me knows, I love selling. I think that selling is serving people, making them happy. And I love giving people what they want. I just think it's fun. And so I love to make people happy. So I like selling. So this is great. But my ability to do that face-to-face has obviously changed. And I'm really getting into the whole Zoom thing now. Now, Jeremiah, as a wedding MC, obviously face-to-face contact is a kind of a bit off the table for you, because I know you usually like the big 500-person weddings. What are you seeing as new opportunities in this area for you?
I'm seeing, look, being online and keeping that presence and that branding online being a really important thing, and being relevant in this state where we're all in. So even though that the usual thing that we can't be at events, the usual thing that I can't be in a room of people just like any other service providers, it still means that we can still be, you know, in their hearts and minds while we're still in this space. People in the downtime are still going to be looking on their phone. They're working from home. I'm sure they're going to be scrolling through things as well. And so that you're still in there. You're still around the hemisphere of things that are happening. And I think what's important is how we convey ourselves in this state, in this frame of mind right now, and how balanced we come across in front of the curtain and behind the curtain. Like in front of the curtain is what we're doing now, right? Which is our brand, but there's behind the curtain as well, and making sure that that's equal in what we do. Now, when it comes to Zoom, is only recently I invested in a public speaking course, seminar.
And your voice is sounding really sexy with that microphone, by the way. You got a bit of like, awesome. I'm getting me one of those microphones.
But it does play a part. Like for me, people are going to be buying into myself. I don't have a product. Like my product is my voice and is my presence. I don't have shoes. I don't have a dress. I don't have cakes to sell. I don't have like flowers can be flown in from overseas that people can go, wow, right? It's an experience that I'm able to provide. And so everything is going to convey that in this space. I'm going to exploit. I'm going to make full use of that. And so to back that up, I was going to be attending a seminar, and it was to be before the event kicked off with the lockdowns. And so then the email came through, like with anything, when anyone's got an event, look, we can't do this anymore. We're going to do it online. And at first I was really apprehensive. I was like, well, I've invested this. I want to be in the presence of people. Yeah. And what it revealed is that it was a fantastic platform. And there's still just as much information can get across, and a lot of lessons that I want to share with you about what I've learned in my experience so far with Zoom. Look, for some people, it might be for yourself. It mightn't be new information, right? Some of this might be like, I already know this already, Jeremiah, but like I'm going to come across as if there's a reminder.
We all need reminders.
Yeah. So what I'm going to break it down to is three things. There's going to be the technical stuff. There's going to be the presentation part, and there's going to be the online professionalism.
Because this is how we sell now. This is like seriously important. This is like how we make our money. So the more professional we can look, the more that we are able to continue our business going.
Yeah. And it's like, look, that rule same applies in if you're at a networking event, so forth, you know, people make an assumption on what they're going to expect based on that first see. Yeah. We do that all the time. And it's no different when we're in this space as well. It's about how are we coming across, because that may be the first time that potential couple gets to see you. Chances are in this climate now, it is the only platform that they're going to be able to see you. So what message are you going to be conveying across? So when it comes to technical stuff, let's look at firstly, get familiar with Zoom. Like get really familiar with it. Like you don't have to host a meeting to go into the settings section, and just get comfortable with like where your camera is, get comfortable with your audio settings, and practice around with that. And like in this day and age, there's no excuse for not knowing stuff technically. Like people throw their hands up and go, oh, look, I'm a technophobe. It's like, we're too bad because we're here now.
I found the filter. I found filters.
Right. So it's about getting comfortable with that, because the most important thing is that when we're familiar, we're comfortable. Yeah. And when we're comfortable, we're composed. And when we're composed, we're credible. Yeah. And that's an important thing, because we've only got a small window that they can see us through for credibility. And the variables are, firstly, is identifying, okay, what's my light source? Natural light is always going to be a perfect way to illuminate our face. How visible is our face? Because a lot of our emotions and a lot of our communication goes well beyond verbal. Is that right? We all agree with that, yeah? So another thing also is that when you're communicating with your potential client, I follow this habit, and I know you do as well, right? Is that we look at the screen. Okay, we're not looking at the camera. Like I'm looking at the camera now, I'm looking down the lens. Now, if we're going to be communicating something very, very important, especially about the investment required, let's just say the investment is going to be those extra add-ons going to be $1,200 plus GST. And you say that and you're looking down the camera. If you're looking down and you're saying something, how sincere do you look? How sincere are you coming across?
Good advice.
Yeah. So when you are talking, make sure that when we talk to the camera and we look at the lens. And if it helps, put a little sticky note on top of your camera with a smiley face, because that's the face that you're talking to, not the screen. And that's something that's going to just on some level elevate that level of connection through this platform, because let's face it, it's not perfect. Okay. And that's going to be frustrating because you want to be out there within that space. And there's so much that you can gain being in, a few feet away from someone. The vibes you get from someone, you can't get through this system. But you've got to use as much as you can. And the one thing is going to be powerful is the use of your eyes looking down the lens. Okay.
That's great advice.
Yeah.
I just wrote notes.
Yeah.
Then the next thing also is like your proportions. Like photographer, videographer, they'd understand this as well. Like make sure you've got even space on the other side of you. So when you are talking with your potential customer, is that you present yourself like it's a photo. Yeah. So make sure that you are looking at eye level to the person. So when you're speaking to them, it feels like you're speaking to them. Yeah. You're looking down the lens. And also make sure of the fact that what's going on behind you. Yeah. Like we are working from home. You're working from home. I'm working from home. And at home, there's everything happening. Yeah. So what I learned online, actually on TV just yesterday, I think it was yesterday or the day before, someone mentioned the traffic light system. Have you heard about the traffic light system?
No.
Okay. So just like red, orange, and amber and green is like, if you've got family, we've got people coming in and out of the house, and people are going to know where's mum or where's dad or where are you, or people are going to interrupting. And there's nothing more unprofessional than that happening. Yeah. We could all agree. So if it's on the door, right, to have a traffic light system, like red means absolutely no conditions is anyone going to be entering this. This is how long you can't be in this room. I'm going to be in this room for uninterrupted for. Yeah. Orange is like if there's a fire or if there's something really important. Yeah. Okay. You can interrupt me, but it better be good. Yeah. And
I can't reach the Vegemite.
Yeah. Right. And green is it's like, look, it's fine. I'm offline. You can come in. Okay. Because that's
if there's a fire and it's red, no one comes in.
Yeah. It's an important sale you're making.
Yeah.
High water, right? I'm going to nail this sale. I'm going to get this. I'm going to get this. Yes, right. But you get that. It's common sense, right?
Yeah.
It's just real common sense. As I said, it's not new information. It's just a reminder. So the traffic light system is a good way of getting that across. Make sure your microphone. So I've got a microphone. This is important for me. Because again, I can't send them things. I can't send them a sample or something. This is me. This is how I'm going to convey myself through that. But it doesn't hurt to understand your platforms and what your audio sounds like and the differences and things like that. That's really, really important.
That is awesome, Jeremiah.
Yeah. I got a little bit more before.
Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
Okay. So now when it comes to professionalism, okay. So simple things like eating. Okay. Like I know that we're drinking now, this is casual space, but obviously, eating and so forth, pets and things like that, alerts. So when you've got alerts on your phone, put your phone on silent. Yeah. Alerts on your desktop or on your phone, make sure they're not distracted. Another simple thing is like, know your shortcuts. Okay. So your shortcuts for turning the video off. See, this is turning the video off now.
Cool.
So if I need to go and stand up, let's just say someone knocked on the door. And I go, okay, I'm going to stand up and walk across to the room. Okay, excuse me, hang on one moment. Instead of just you getting up, it's like when you at the movie theater and someone gets up and their crutches in your face and you're like, oh, get out of my way, right? So simple things like that, a little bit of elegance. Same thing with muting, things like that, so that you can come across as professional and sincere.
We all did that yesterday. That was the practice run. That's what we learned. The mute on and off.
Yeah. So that's my little things that I can get across, and I hope that's going to be valuable to you.
Oh, that's fantastic. And Jeremiah, can I ask you a favor? Would you possibly mind writing some of those down in bullet points, and then I might pop them on the email as well, because Absolutely. They were really, really valuable insights. That was fantastic. So thank you very much. Now, speaking of people who have very valuable insights, the non-international Nadia Duran. Now, I know, darling, that the loss of international travel is impacting you personally hugely.
Yeah.
Now, in a measured yet honest way, what do you see? Because I know you've seen weddings all over the world. You know what the best of the best. You've styled weddings for Saudi kings in places that I
Yeah.
like. I didn't think women could go.
No, that's right. That's right. We've been using technology for a long time, and now that Jeremiah was talking about this, I've been doing these meetings for years now because majority of my couples are overseas, so I don't get to meet them till the day of the wedding. Yeah. And I've been selling on Skype and on WhatsApp for years now. So I think I got a few things covered, you know, the plain backdrop, have presented a lot of those points because I've been doing it for a while. And
Chanel badge.
Yes, I'm not showing you my pajamas under my dress, but at least what you can see, you know, is very presentable because that's the first image that clients will see. So I've been selling like this for a couple of years. So for me now, selling online is kind of naturally. And I've been doing a lot of mock-ups. Every time a couple from overseas, I do the design concept, then I create a mock-up and I show them everything through the camera. So I am quite familiar with that. And also, for example, in Qatar, when we had weddings that are segregated, where men cannot enter, we have all the entertainment outside. We build tents and we have all the entertainment outside. The male bands, the singers, and then we broadcast everything inside for the females to be watching the males because females can watch males, but males can't watch females. So I have quite a lot of experience with that. And so I think it's great for us, but in regards to traveling is definitely a big change. So this is something that you want to ask me?
I do. I want to, like, you know so much about weddings, like internationally. Be gentle with us because I know it's not all positive, but we want to be real and we want to be honest. What do you see as how weddings are going to change in the future? Because that was one of the big questions that a lot of people wanted to hear.
Yeah. Look, I wish I had the answer. I don't know. I am very different to many people. When all of this started, like Evalyn, everyone started doing things and getting things organized. I didn't. I just simply could not believe what it was happening. I had so many trips planned, so many events all around the world. And I could just see one after the other being canceled, not even postponed, like totally canceled. And I could see that my income was reduced to zero in a matter of days, where I have to return some money. So I personally went into a bit of depression and anxiety. And one day I was feeling like absolutely down, where I couldn't even get up of bed. So I went to my doctor and I asked for help. And I think it's okay to ask for help. You know, people.
So important.
It's so important. And I've been doing I took a mental check plan, and I've been talking to psychologists at the moment on how to deal with loss, because it is what it is. And a change to a reality and accepting life in a different way. And I am definitely much better. I don't think I could have had this Zoom a couple of weeks ago because I couldn't even get out of bed. But now I'm feeling a lot better, and I am learning to adapt to the change, which is something, you know, something that people struggle with. And I think there's going to be a lot of changes in the way that weddings are. The same way when September 11th happened, it changed the way people traveled, it changed the security in the airports, and it changed the security on people overall. So I think the same way things are going to change for everybody in the travel industry and everybody traveling. I don't know if you know, but yesterday, for the very first time, Emirates is the first airline that is doing COVID-19 test before boarding. So it's a little blood test that they do before boarding, and you get the results within 10 minutes. And obviously, if you are if you have the virus and you can't board, so I think that's one of the measures. That's one of the measures that a lot of airlines will take. Also, taking temperatures and so on. So in terms of traveling, I think there's always going to be that level of luxury. There's always going to be those clients who are just ready for this to stop and get the luggage and fly. But the majority, and they are, you know, the little line in here, the one that have a lot of money. But then there's a big number of people who are definitely going to be scared and cautious and might not even have the money to be traveling. So I think destination weddings are going to be definitely affected. However, I think I have something good to tell you, because I feel that now Australia will become the destination. I feel people are going to feel secure and comfortable to travel to countries that were less affected, to countries that were able to manage the situation in a better way. And I think Australia and New Zealand have been one of those countries. So I do believe Australia is going to be a destination, whether it's a destination wedding or a honeymoon. And I think us as planners and photographers, videographers, we're going to have a big opportunity in here. I think a lot of countries from Asia will be coming more and more to Australia, because we have the right standards, the clean standards. We also have amazing and beautiful natural places, outdoor locations. And that is what I see the destiny of weddings going. I do believe that the weddings are going to be happening more outdoors, in open spaces. Some venues might have to adapt, and instead of 10 to 12 people per table, they might need to have 6 to 8 people per table. Instead of 500, might reduce the numbers to 300. But definitely Australia has all of those beautiful outdoor places. So if you are a venue that has beautiful gardens, start thinking of pushing your packages for outdoor weddings and outdoor receptions. I think we're going to have a big opportunity in there. And more than anything, I think we just need to be together and help each other. After we did this call, I received 3 phone calls from all of you guys, and it was amazing to know that you are there for me and I'm there for you, and yes, and I think that's how I see the destiny of weddings.
Oh, it's beautiful. And I think that's the thing. It's so important that so many of us are having that roller coaster of emotions. Like one minute I feel motivated, the next minute I'm like, this is just too much. And I love that you spoke so honestly, Nadia. Thank you so much for that, darling.
My pleasure.
And I have to say your mention of weddings becoming very popular in places that are big and open with beautiful gardens. Well, Christy. Big opportunities for you, darling, at Terrera House. So we were lucky enough to go down and photograph Terrera House. It was a wedding venue many years ago, and has sort of not been so much in recent times. And I guess you could say you're relaunching at a time, hopefully, when really it's going to be hard to travel outside of Australia, but people who want destination weddings are still want that chance to get away from Sydney and take their friends and family away somewhere. So there are opportunities here for certain businesses within the sector.
No, you're exactly right. And I think, we were very fortunate to, I guess, have an iconic location within a region that was once had a reputation of doing all these weddings. And I guess, like you said, Rach, it I guess went into a period of time where it changed over new ownership, and that new ownership meant that it was really important for our client in particular to be reinvesting back into the property in order to be able to give back to the community. So since coming on board, our strategy has always been about creating ourselves as a destination. And that's a destination for not only weddings, but also for the community and for Australia, and to give that holistic experience that showcases the best of not only an 18-acre estate with, beautiful manicured gardens and a gorgeous heritage listed, house mansion, but how do we create it as a holistic experience that gives people who have never been to the region before a taste of what they can experience for, let's say, the Shoalhaven or the Southern Highlands. So we've been really passionate about doing that since, I guess, implementing that overall strategy, which we then obviously worked with you at the start of the year as well to launch that. And then I guess COVID happened and it all went to a standstill. And I guess first thing I get, to address what you were saying in terms of the 3 points of what did we do to protect, I guess, us as business owners, protecting our client, us protecting our teams. But also us protecting our community was really a really big thing that we focused on. We're such big, I guess, advocates that collaboration is key, and we can't profess to do everything. And for a service in wanting to provide a holistic experience, we rely and work on our community and that local, I guess, producer and supplier list and the people we love to be able to create these experiences. So without them, we can't give that to our customers and our clients and our couples. So first and foremost, we went into the mode of making sure that our, I guess, suppliers and everyone was protected, that our teams were really looked after, and that we were ensuring that our property was still maintained. And what we're doing now to be able to focus on that is really investing in ensuring that our grounds and that our teams and that our services, and that we're instilling those best practices to, I guess, be healthy and make it safe, and keep educating that we will be open soon. We remain optimistic. We need to be, I guess, role models within this industry to be able to combine and connect together and collaborate, to be able to, I guess, unite and kind of work together and learn of each other in order to get through this together, to grow, to still be able to give back.
Yeah. And I know I saw your video come through this week. So it's not, you certainly, even though the weddings aren't occurring right now, you haven't stopped your marketing, have you?
No, not at all. And I think now you have to look at it at a time as, we can now work on the business and not in the business.
Yeah.
We can now really look at it and go, okay, I remember when sort of the first notice came out about COVID and what those parameters were. And straight away we went to the point of going, okay, we can't bring people here, but what can we do to serve the community? We've got an incredible chef. We're growing a lot of produce. How about, there's a lot of families, for example, I watched a mother crying in a Woolworths aisle because she didn't know how to feed her kids because of what was only left in the aisles. And I nearly broke down, because it was like, there's all this fresh produce and everything sitting in those aisles, but we've got a community that's uneducated or aren't skilled in that set to be able to, I guess, facilitate or provide that service to their families. So we went straight away to going, okay, well, we've got this incredible chef. Why don't we get all our produce together, work with our producers to ensure that they're also getting their products utilized, and prepare meals for the community. Unfortunately, we didn't get to go to that point because of then the further restrictions and the health implications and so on. So we've got a really big focus right now on just ensuring that where our property is being maintained to the best and health standards as possible. We're getting everything ready and planting a lot more to get, spring season ready. Still working with and connecting with our producers and with the community and our tourism bodies and the council to do anything, I guess, and just be kept abreast of what are other people doing, what are your strategies, does it align to ours, how can we work together to continue to get through this. And also, and of course, most importantly, giving that assurance to our couples, and giving that assurance to our existing couples, but also the future couples and our clients to come, is a really big one. And I think, hence Hayley, while I was asking you a lot of questions around that, we've got, I guess, weddings coming up in the spring season that some of them are a little bit different in terms of going, okay, well, we don't need to move just yet. We're not being told to move just yet. We're going to sort of stay as is. Some going, okay, what do we do? What are our options? Those sorts of things. Vicky, like you were saying, there's a lot of people who either just want to get married, but at the same time, it's a real deal breaker that they can't have grandma coming from overseas or so on, and that sort of thing. So I guess it's connecting with our couples to really understand their why. What is their why of getting married, and what can we do to support them to be able to still give that service? And if we can't directly, what can we do with our partners and our contributors to work together to be able to provide that? So is that updating, contacting our videographer to learn, okay, how do we live stream with a shorter amount to be able to get that overseas? Is it working with, stylists, for example, to go, okay, we can't do 12, we do a shared menu style narrative. So is it that we reduce the table size, and how do we flex and shift, and what does that look like? How do we, I guess, break away from what we were looking at in the 100 capacity numbers and start downscaling to, an 18-acre estate property? How do we still create an intimate experience for only 40 to 60 people? So they're all the things that we're kind of working through at the moment. And again, it's really just making sure we're able to give security, provide a safe environment for not only our existing couples, but our couples to come, make it definitely a safe working environment for our teams. And just more importantly, I think keep connected and keep collaborating is a really big one.
And keep going. Like, by the sounds of it, you guys are like really super busy. And one of the things that I love you mentioned was that you're continuing to learn. You know, you're not just going, okay, I'm just going to shove my socials out there. You're like, okay, I'm going to talk to the videographer and I'm going to learn how to do things differently.
Yeah.
One thing that I've been talking to a lot of businesses about, and I've been doing myself, is that I know, Jeremiah, we've been talking about writing business plans and things like that. And suddenly that business plan that we were working on for the 12 months, for the 5-year plan, that's just got to get thrown out the window for a little bit of time. And we're really working on a short-term business plan. You know, what are those priorities that we need to do that are going to get us through to 3 months? They're going to get us through to 6 months. What are our goals at the end of 3 months? What do we want to look like on the end of this? And so working on those short-term business plans is like a super priority for what we're doing at the moment. And Natasha, I know that's something that that you believe very strongly in. Obviously, you support the bridal industry across Australia with the Australian Bridal Industry Academy. And we don't just want to limp to the other side of this and kind of crawl our way across. At the end of this, if we want to really grow out of it and take advantage of that big season that we're hoping is to come, we need to take advantage of this time to really get our ducks in a line and get that marketing going. And tell me all about what do you see for us all?
Yeah, okay. Well, I've had this conversation with many people who are in this Zoom conference at the moment, but it is so important to always grow your business because there's always room to grow. Whether or not other people think, oh, they've reached their peak and they're doing so well, it's so important to focus on the growth of your business.
Yeah.
Now is the time that we have, that we can grow our business. So we do have the time.
Have time.
And how, like Christy said, she said, we now have time to work on our business as opposed to work in our business. And you've said this as well, Rach, before, that it's so important now not to take our foot off the marketing pedal.
Yep.
Marketing is a science. It really is. It's consumer psychology. It's understanding, again, Christy, the why of the customer. Why would they want to book me? Why do they trust me? Or why do they like my products and services? That's marketing. But the beauty of marketing is you can have fun with it as well. And the beauty of being in the wedding industry as well is that we've got all these wonderful bits of content in terms of colors, in terms of joy. I know that everyone sitting in this virtual room today, you have made hundreds, thousands of couple streams come true. And you've made such big sacrifices to build your full-time wedding business to be what it is today. And because of that, you're actually, to make those sacrifices, you were very strong. So that's why you are. And I know a lot of people say, oh, you'll get through it. It'll pass by. You'll get through it. We will get through it. We will get through it because we will work as a united collective. But I could talk about this for days, but I thought I'd address just 4 points for the time being.
Yep.
I could address maybe 100, but we'll stick to 4. Otherwise, we'll have a midnight party.
I was going to say we're up over the hour limit, so stick to 4. That's good.
And the wine's getting low.
Yeah.
I'm running out.
Speaking of, let's just wrap up.
We're drying up. So first and foremost, I am a strong believer of trust and credibility. Not just for business, in all areas, whether it be family, whether it be your social life, and especially business. So this is now the time for you to nurture and promote your trust factor and your credibility. Couples before were looking for trust and they were looking for credibility, but after all of this, they're going to be looking for it even more. They want that reliability. I've had many businesses contact me and they've said, we still have prospect customers who are inquiring, but they're saying, I feel really hesitant to book you because I might give you a deposit, but what's going to guarantee that you're not going to spend my deposit? And then by the time my wedding comes around, you're going to go bust.
Yeah.
And where's my money? the thing is, all of us know here, and many people who are watching at the moment understand as well, that if you're an established business in the wedding marketplace, you've been around the wedding block many times, and you understand the value of good business and honest business practice. So you would put that money aside and guarantee that couple, I will be there for your wedding. I will put that in the contract. I will put, and it won't be void. I will put that in writing. I mean, every business, I know all of you do, but every business needs a contract.
Yep.
And as Jeremiah was saying as well, you know, to be composed, that shows credibility, to show that you're in control as well. To assure the couples, no, I will be there, don't you worry. Now, another way to prove that is testimonials from your real wedding couples. You've all worked incredibly hard, like next level hard. I receive emails from you at 2 a.m. in the morning. I think, okay, they're working a late night. But, you know, you have done so much hard work. Have something to show for it. And your customers, your previous customers, whether they were 12 months ago or whether they were 5 years ago, you built a relationship with them, and a special relationship with them, because it takes a special type of personality to succeed in the wedding industry. And they will be your cheerleaders during this time. So reach out to them and say, hey, could you organize a video testimonial for me? I would love to just post it on my socials, or, you know, inquire with a platform that can generate ratings, reviews, and recommendations, and then you have something to show for it. So when somebody inquires with your business, you can say, hey, look at my portfolio of verified customer feedback. This is from real couples. Or you can export reviews and then share that on social media, whether that be Insta Stories, Instagram, or Facebook. So this is the time for you to build that portfolio of trust and credibility, and make sure that it's recent. There's nothing, I'm sorry, but I cannot stand it when I see somebody's portfolio and the last review that they've received was 8 months ago. Yet you know that they've been servicing so many weddings. That should be a major priority for your business, because it shows that you're active, and it shows that you're a wanted vendor. So number one, tick that off. Nurture and grow your trust factor and credibility. This is the time to do so. Everyone else is at home at the moment, so they have time to give you a testimonial. We actually saw a 250% increase in terms of ABIA ratings and reviews when the pandemic was announced, because so many people are working from home and so many people have downtime. So they'll think, okay, well, no, I will rate and review Couture wedding planning, because I kind of have time now. So take advantage of it. And it's huge. It should always be at the forefront of your business during COVID-19, before COVID-19, and after COVID-19. Second, stay active. I know a lot of you have mentioned that in different methods. Stay active on social media. Stay active in forms of blogs. Show that you're still in business, because there's so many people across various industries that are like, are they open? Have they gone bust? I'm not too sure. I haven't seen a post for the last 3 weeks. Are they okay? Or I might move on to the next vendor. And so whether that's via Instagram, whether that's via Insta Stories, whether that's in the form of writing a blog, just show that you're active. That's really, really important. So I got that done quickly. That was number 2. Number 3, what was number 3? Number 3 is to get creative. And again, I've heard many people in the virtual webinar talk about how they're getting creative with their products and services. So, you know, some businesses might just offer one cookie cutter service, one price, that's it. What about maybe if you're an MC, you could offer a product or service not targeted to the bride, not targeted to the groom, but maybe you could target the bridesmaids and groomsmen, and you could teach them how to write a well-constructed speech where people don't give courtesy or whether
that's a good idea.
I don't know where you are on the screen there, Jeremiah, but to me you're down. So
yeah. You know, that's a different product or service. Or you could be a wedding planner and you could give reputable advice based on the credibility and the recommendations of your past couples, to then give advice as to how, or give your services as to how you can reschedule weddings that have been affected by COVID-19. Because there are some industries, a lot of people are still working full time at the moment in different industries and really busier than ever, fixing problems, not, you know, generating creative ideas, fixing problems. Maybe they can hire a wedding planner to take care of the rescheduling of their wedding. Same with Sebastian. He's going to be releasing a new, a different price range for his dress. You're thinking outside the box. For a celebrant, it's about the the party of 5 elopement. You know, start promoting that. Or even better, go and collaborate with businesses in your local area and create a bundle package, share the marketing costs and paid advertising, and say, hey, in this package, you're going to get a photographer, a videographer, and floral designer. And combined, we have 564 recommendations from real couples. Trust us. We will be there for your wedding day, and we will go above and beyond for your wedding day because we've got that credibility. So it's time to get creative and have fun with it. There's so much fun to be had. You know, we've got to focus on being fun.
Now I'm gonna hurry you up on the last one. I'm so sorry, Natasha. Only because I've got a couple of questions that are coming in, and one of the things that I wanted to mention was that you were saying about staying active and being creative.
Yes.
I just wanted to add as well that the one thing we don't want to fall into the trap of is just doing flashbacks. Flashback. Here's what I did. Flashback. 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 If you want to build that credibility, it's all about the know, like, trust factor. You call it building credibility. I call it about the know, like, trust factor. People want to get to know you. And then once they get to know you, they get to like you. And then once they like you, then they can trust you enough with their day. Now, one thing, it can be hard to know, how do you bring that through to your socials? So another resource that I've popped onto my website that I'm giving away as a free gift is your social media calendar, and that's got inspiration on different posts that you can create every day. So it could be, okay, today share 3 things about yourself that maybe no one would know. For me, I love 80s glam rock. Okay, that's just another side note, but I think people are starting to get to know that now. You know, like, share, what does your workspace look like now that you're at home? What does, you know, show us your family, let people inside and get to know you, because once they get to know you, then they can get to like you. And then that's a really beautiful way of bringing exactly what you said through to your socials as well. So that's going to be a resource that's available to everyone too. Okay, go for your 4th one.
Okay, 4th was networking.
Just to put you on top. Good.
4th was networking. That was really great, by the way. That it's, you know, we're so used to networking at physical events, and a lot of established relationships between businesses are formed at wedding industry events. We live in a really unusual but wonderful time that we can be interconnected with businesses in different areas, different states, and across the world through social media. Yeah. It's really important to network and reach out with other businesses. If you think that they're doing a good job, let them know that. Don't just give them a like. Reach out to them. Is it slide into the DMs? Is that what you say?
See, I've gone further.
Relevant?
I'm more like wines on house party these days.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That's the after party.
Yeah.
After this, okay.
So there's after party. Okay, I'm staying.
Yeah. Virtual after party. But that's exactly your point. You know, you can kind of still network with people, but in a different way.
That's right. And the thing is, I can look at every single one of these boxes in this Brady Bunch kind of configured screen. I can look at you just at a glance, and I know who I pair you up with in a different state, where you could share your stories, where you would have similar stories, where you would learn from each other, where you might be a mum of 5 and there's another Victorian makeup artist or hairstylist that is a mum of 5 and is also running an entrepreneurial business. I know who I could match all of you up with. And the thing is, most people will say, yeah, can we chat? Let's talk. Because when you talk, you might find that you might feel a bit weak and you might feel vulnerable. But in times of weakness, that's when you're going to find your greatest strength. And then you're bringing great minds together, not just one mind, great minds together. And that's when you start innovating. So reach out to other people. I talk to so many people that I've never met. I seem like a creep on social media. This is all business, not like on a social level.
Tinder, there's Natasha again.
Yeah. Oh, she's just creeping around. You know, and you do develop these relationships. And Nadia, you would be able to relate to this big time with all the international
100%.
Yeah,
I think networking has been one of the secrets to my business success. Absolutely, networking. And that's something that people ask me, how do you enter the international market? And it was networking and going to all the conferences and making sure that people would not forget. And I was constantly going to all of these events.
Yeah.
That is beautiful. Now, thank you so much, darlings. Now, I'm so sorry to cut you off. I just have a couple of questions.
Oh, that's okay.
I think that, possibly, Evalyn, you might be able to help with the first one, and I think I know the answer as well. But I've got one from someone asking, I have staff staying at home at the moment without pay. The ones who had holidays have taken them, but now are on leave without pay. Do I have to pay them while they are not at work so that I can be eligible for the JobKeeper scheme?
Yes.
Now, yeah, the answer is yes. You don't have to pay them full time, but you do have to have them on a part-time basis.
You have to pay them $1,500 a fortnight before tax, which is $1,308 after tax. Yeah.
The main difference is if they're working, you need to pay their superannuation, but if they're not working, you don't have to pay the super.
And if they're like some of my staff earn a higher rate than that. So if they're still working like in the salon, then they get the normal wage, all their super, everything.
Correct.
And the $1,500 comes to me as like a supplement later. For staff who earn lower than that, then I pay their amount as normal with the super attached, and then I do the top up amount without super. And if you use Xero, which a lot of businesses do now, there's actually some great information on there, and you would make a separate pay item that isn't like, it's just a fixed amount, and then it automatically just won't calculate. It'll, like you'll say, there's no super on that item. So it is actually quite easy to process if you've got an accounting program you can use.
Yeah, that's perfect. Now, I have an MC and Celebrant. Couples can still get married. Oh, this is interesting. Couples can still get married. Now, future couples are seeing the system change and realizing you can get married without all the frills. Are any of you afraid that this will now reduce your future opportunities? By that, couples will just get married and host a function separately as opposed to a full day extravaganza. Now, I'm not seeing this at all. We do work in larger weddings where everyone has basically postponed their date, other than Sarah, the one wedding we did recently. And even then, they still got married, but had the full-scale extravaganza on the end. Are you guys seeing the same as me?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And if anything, I think the party's going to be bigger.
Oh, I think we're all looking for that celebration even more, aren't we?
I don't know. Well, I have a little bit of a mixed opinion in there, and that's something that Rachel and I spoke about it before, because I have a wedding in Europe that has not been canceled or postponed. It's going to be in the 26th of September in Europe, and the groom is a pilot for Qatar Pacific, and now he has been grounded, right? So he's not flying. And instead of 50,000 euros budget for decor, we now reduced to 15,000. So the wedding is still going ahead, but definitely the budget has changed. And now even though I already finished with the concept design and everything is done for decor, now I am seeing myself having to redesign the whole wedding to ensure that I can fit it within the budget. So instead of doing orchids and hydrangeas, now we're going to do a lot of fairy lights and greenery, which I think is still going to look very beautiful because we're going to do a different theme now, right? So I think that at least for a year or two, we are going to see a big change in budgets, and we're going to see a big change in the way the weddings will look. I believe that it's going to take 1 or 2 years to get back to that luxurious look that we had before.
Sorry, go on.
No.
I can concur with Nadia is that I've had a handful of my couples who said, Jeremiah, we're still getting married on our date with the 5, and we're going to still have our celebration later. So there are couples who are going, look, for whatever, and even some couples are like, look, mum, she's all into China's astrology, and she says, no, you've got to get married this year, because we've got to get married this year, but you can celebrate later. And I'm finding that's happened a few times with myself. Has anyone else had that?
Yes, yeah, same thing. I've been doing quite a few legal ceremonies, or setting up legal ceremonies, so a paperwork party, we like to call it. And then later on, we might be doing that sort of reaffirming vows, or I rock up to the party and kind of tell their story in more of a, maybe I'm chatting with MCs in the future, and we're kind of collaborating as far as, speeches, like a speech wedding ceremony kind of situation, which I've done in daylight hours, where literally I've just kind of been the organizer, effectively like an MC for the ceremony, because everyone else has delivered the story. I've done ceremonies in so many different formats, and I think that's what we'll be adapting to, is in an evening format. Everyone's got a glass of wine in their hands. I roll into the party and kind of deliver a certain part of it, and then other people might come in and we might kind of combine speeches and ceremony, because all the legals have been done. We've done the paperwork party on the date previously.
I think one question, maybe this is where the question's going, I don't think we need to be scared of saying that it's okay to go ahead with a small wedding, though. I don't think that if we're supportive of saying, guys, if you love each other, go ahead, get married, I don't think that's going to impact our sales ability down the track, because people will not have that big wedding still. I think if they're going to have the big celebration, they'll still have the big celebration. Would you guys agree?
Yes.
If the big celebration's the most important thing to them, then they're still going to have it regardless.
All about priorities.
All right, we have one more question. Interested in how many vendors have seasonal pricing? I know venues do, but do many others? So do you guys do you have special prices available for winter weddings, for Thursday weddings, things like that?
Yeah, I do a midweek special. So Monday to Thursday, we have a package price that's not available Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So, and sometimes we do a winter special if we feel like a particular month looks a bit quieter. 3 months out, we might say, because there's often if they're quieter, then they're also the months where brides are a bit more last minute. So we will sporadically offer a special, but the standard midweek package applies all year round. Because I have full-time employees, so they're employed anyway. If they're not working in weddings, they're in the salon. So I'm not out of pocket. They're going to be doing a client, so I'll just redirect them to a wedding. And we just have like a package price where they basically get a set 5 people in their wedding, and they save about, $150, $200.
I mean, Rachel, I think in here we're going to see a lot of before COVID and after COVID. I think with business are definitely going to change. And in my case, one of the weddings that I had to cancel in July, it was going to be in Europe as well, but the bride and groom own a few restaurants in Sydney, and the restaurants have been closed. Now they changing the wedding day to one more year and a different date, which is I was expecting that was going to be very busy for me, but I don't know. So I am respecting the same prices that I gave them in 2020, regardless they're going to get married in 2021. So I think this is an answer that is going to be very personal, and only us as a business owners will make a decision whether your business needs that cash in, and therefore you're going to give a better price regardless of the season.
Now, it was actually the last question that we chatted about smaller weddings, couples getting married now and then the celebration later. We've had someone who said, look, the risk is that if they get married now and celebrate later, they may reconsider as time passes and that celebration may not happen. Look, to be honest, we don't know the answers.
No.
It could happen. From our point of view, it's definitely a risk, because more so than smaller celebrations, the smaller wedding going ahead, we see a bigger risk being that family members can't get in. So I'm personally quite worried that weddings that have been postponed till later in the year potentially still won't be able to go ahead, because even though the restrictions may have been lifted, mum can't get here from Italy because Italy is, Australia won't let them cross the borders, or they need to do 2 weeks quarantine, or so these issues are going to continue to occur, and it is going to be something that we'll have to play by ear and keep an eye on.
If I can just make a quick comment in there.
Please.
I got married many years ago, 15 years ago, and I wanted to get married in Sydney on that specific day. It was a Tuesday at 1 p.m. and I thought, if people love me, people are going to be here. And the 40 people I invited to my wedding attended. And then I had my big celebration 6 months later in Mexico with 500 people, a real Mexican wedding. And around the 3 months after I was married, I was like, oh, why should I go to Mexico and spend all of this money since I'm already married? But then it was my family who really wanted the wedding. So at the end of the day, I did that beautiful 500 people wedding because of my family. So I think even if couples are going to lose the mojo of doing the weddings, there are always other people that play part in a wedding, which is family.
That's beautiful.
That's
now,
happened though in the past anyway. I'm sure it's happened in the past where couples have been married, they may have eloped and they said we're having a celebration. So this concept isn't a new thing.
Yeah,
no.
It's not new.
Now we've got one, and we're getting so many, and just to let you guys know as well, yay, we're getting so many positive pieces of feedback here, guys. Thank you so much for all the wonderful comments. I'm seeing people saying, oh my God, it's super awesome, tuning in to see, thank you for running the session, such legends. Just want to say thank you. You're really helping me. I'm looking forward to it. Can I watch it again? Awesome stuff. So thank you guys for so many great comments. One more question. We mentioned it a bit earlier, but I think I will address it again. Can we still do photo shoots, or is that non-essential biz now? Now, look, my feeling on that is that the Prime Minister of Australia, Scott Morrison, he said every business is an essential business. We need to keep our economy running as long as you are keeping in place the guidelines, so that you are one person interacting at the social distancing, and you are putting all of your precautions in place and you're following the guidelines and the rules. I am of the belief, and I know some of the other panelists are as well, that you can continue to operate your business. Yes, there are other people who would argue different directions, but that's my opinion. Anybody else want to comment on that?
I agree. I actually saw a promotion of just a friend in Toowoomba, and a photographer was doing like a driveway photo shoot where she was families were getting photos taken in their driveway with their kids, and it was just like a little, like, what could she do with her skills that met the guidelines of the loophole, the government parameters, which was like social distancing. She wasn't meeting the couples elsewhere that was in their own family home, but they would and my friend has 2 kids and got these amazing photos just with like the trees in their driveway, and she was just doing like $100 and 5 photos in half an hour basically. And I was like, wow, how innovative. And I thought that was really
that's cool.
We've got one in South Australia doing the same thing.
Yeah, it's a great idea.
We've got one in South Australia doing the same thing. I think it's a wonderful idea on your doorstep or something. Yes.
Right. Is everybody getting that cut out, or is it just me?
No, getting it.
Okay, everybody. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's just about it. And apologies. I've learned something new. I didn't know we had a landline. So excuse the phone call going off here in the background. I'm like texting Dean in the background going, since when have we had a landline? So obviously we're getting some spamming calls of some kind. But guys, thank you so much for all the positive messages that have been coming through on the Q&A. Thank you guys. That was so much fun.
Thank you, Rachel.
To pick up your phone. That's why. You were never at home before.
I know. I've never been home to realize that I have a landline. I've made a discovery today. Now I'm going to email.
Rebates, phone calls.
That's it. Now I'm going to email out after this all those things that we've talked about. So there is the COVID-19 letter that you can use as a template if you need to talk to suppliers about how to pay them in smaller increments. Just money talking can be hard. So that's a resource that I hope you can take advantage of if you'd like it. We've got the social media calendar, which will give you some inspiration ideas on how you can get your know, like, trust factor across in your socials. So you're not just sharing throwbacks, you're actually letting your couples get to know you as well. We've also got someone coughing. Who's that?
He's down.
What was I going to say? Jeremiah's going to put on his tips for Zoom because I thought they were really,
really
good. And
that was
good.
They were
great. Super important.
Yeah.
So we'll have that on there as well. And if you do want, I've got on the email, we'll also have a recap of this. So we'll actually have the like if you want to watch it, share it with anyone, and do that again. And if you do want to do a short course in short-term business planning, I have got that available as well. So I'll email all that information through to you. And if there's anything else that you guys need, if you would like to see more of our smiley faces and real talk, unfiltered, send us an email. Let us know. I don't know how to finish this off now, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Guys.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Right,
So
stay
the after
positive.
party, we stay here for the after party now.
Stay smiling.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
off
see
to
you on-
hustle 5 kids. I'm out of here.
All right. Thanks, Evalyn. You have fun.
Evalyn, I
You
have a
guys
really
have
quick
party.
question for you.
Yeah, go for
Where
it.
on the Sunshine Coast are you from?
So we live in Caloundra.
I'm from Sunshine Coast. That's why I was like,
so good.
yeah.
Yeah, my salon's at Moffat Beach.
Nice.
Do you know Caloundra End? Or
Yeah. I was a Mooloolaba baby. But yeah, no, we spent a lot of time everywhere. So yeah.
Driveway
Sunny
party.
Coast.
There you go.
It's a
Driveway
bit,
party.
It's a bit of paradise. It's a little slice of paradise, the Sunshine Coast. So
Yeah,
Good place to isolate.
you're in a good place. Yeah.
Right.
All right. Oh, there's Dean
absolutely.
as well. He's our behind the scenes guru.
Better join us for the after party later, all right? See ya.
All right. Oh, I should say as well, if you guys want to join, I've opened up a Facebook group too. So anyone who's watched now wants to share some ideas, there'll be a new Facebook group we can join as well.
Cool.
Okay.
Amazing.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Rachel.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.